You don't give a shit about
because
it.
you don't have that passion, energy that's actually going to help you to push through those kind of hard moments, because everything is going to come at the cost. There is going to be hard moments that you need to push through.
You don't have the drive. If I am in a job that I don't like, I don't have the drive to succeed. I don't care.
You need to understand whether you work like a cow or you work like a lion, right? Because if you don't set those boundaries, then you are going to end up working like a cow, always trying to do something.
You don't want to accept that, oh, I suck at this. And for me,
Yeah, you need to embrace the sucking.
you need to bless. Oh, that.
I mean,
Adam,
you know
sure.
what we mean.
I know what you
We
mean.
should not take this out of context. And the mentor was like, didn't you just buy a Lambo? And yes, I did. Yeah, that's a waste of money. And then the mentee was saying that, you know, where I came from, there is no such car in the neighborhood like this. And when people see me,
Why are you not feeling that you are enough to command respect? That you, who you are as a person, without even your job, your fame, or whatever, you are enough to be likable or to people to admire or just to build connections without them. Why do you need the validation from your possessions?
I think that was also one of the reasons why I didn't really want to create content. I didn't really want to put myself out there, because I always saw someone else who knows so much more, and I just didn't feel that I know enough.
You know enough, yeah. I probably can do that, but I'm questioning myself way too much.
Embrace and fully experience the full extent of all other emotions, because she knows it's gonna be fine. She has her baseline of contentment.
Let's start with an interesting paradox, I would say, and something that concerns people, all of us, in reality a lot, the failure paradox.
Ooh.
The failure paradox has I can just condense it in a simple sentence, and it's like, you have to fail more to succeed more. Literally, that's it. The failure paradox. We can go to the next one now. No, obviously no. Failure is, for me, one of the most important stepping stones towards succeeding, mastering something, whatever it is. Like, I feel like the more you fail, the closer you get to become better and succeed at whatever you do. And I think that's probably like what the paradox of failure also thinks. Like a lot of people are fear of failure. They're afraid that if they fail, I fucked this up. I ruined it. But in reality, the more you fail, the closer you get to become better at it and to succeed, to truly succeed. Because everyone fails. Like, if you ask any successful person, either this is an entrepreneur, athletes, artists, they're all going to tell you the same thing, that they failed so many times, they made so many mistakes. But it's important to also learn from those mistakes.
Yeah, so what he wrote here was, the more you are prepared to fail, the more likely you are going to succeed.
Yeah.
Right? So exactly what you said, that failure is part of the journey. It's not the opposite of success. And exactly as you mentioned, that every successful person is going to say that they have failed more than they succeeded. And you actually just need to get comfortable with the possibility of failing in something that you are doing, right? And this kind of like reminded me to some of the advices that I give to startups, because when I meet some entrepreneurs who are just about to start their own business, and they have their own fears of failure, or the business is going to fail, the idea is going to fail. So what they are doing is actually that they are trying to protect it. They are trying to protect it from potential failure, and that's not the way to do it. You need to do the exact opposite. You need to put the idea through those kind of situations where it's likely to fail, so at least you can test the riskiest hypothesis that you have, so you know how to move forward with that, right? But what happens in most cases is that they design, I did these mistakes as well, so it's not just about other people,
We all have done that.
we design tests and experiments that's going to validate the idea rather than trying to make the idea fail. So whenever I start something, I try to put it through this kind of tests and experiments to see whether the idea is strong enough to actually live through those kind of potential moments of failure. What do you think of that?
And agree 100% what you said. I'll just add to it that I feel like a lot of times, and I also caught myself in the past doing it sometimes, that you try to protect yourself from this fear of failure because it feels like you're losing. You know, it hurts you. It hurts your ego, but it doesn't hurt you actually. It helps you grow. Probably like failure is the most transformative part of our growth. Like it directly helps us grow and become better, but it also comes with a cost. It hurts our ego. And I also got myself, as a person who had struggles with my ego my whole life, of course, to downplay myself, afraid to take some risks, which you know deep inside. Your gut feeling is telling you that this risk can be the answer you're looking for the next part of your journey, for succeeding. But because of this fear of failure is there, it feels like a barrier, and it feels like you want to protect this inner child version of yours that doesn't want to see you fail, and you're either downplaying or you're just not taking the risk, or you're not shooting your shot properly. Like, let's say this in business, we see this all the time. Like, people just prefer to have a job that they're not satisfied with instead of risking to do something that they potentially fail. But what you fail to realize is that by staying in something that you're feeling miserable, you're actually signing yourself a contract with failure. Like, think about it like this, because I think that was another conversation I had with, I think in my previous podcast as well, or with clients, I don't remember, but I remember this conversation so clearly. Think about your odds. Let's say you have a crazy dream and idea that you want to execute as a freelancer, as an entrepreneur, or a different career path, right? But the odds in brackets are against you, or most people tell you that this is a really risky path, you might fail, that's so hard, the competition is too high, and you have this safe job, the safe option there, that you go clock in, out, and you're just feeling miserable. In every situation, you have like a development. Like, even in your other job that you hate, you can become better and get a better position and promote and all that things, right? And then the other thing is something that you're passionate about, or if you feel it's your purpose and you want to do it, but it has really high risk of failure. In which situation you're most likely to truly fail?
When you don't even try.
First, but also, I'll put the question differently. Do you believe that you're more likely to succeed in something that you're truly passionate about, even the odds are against you, but at least you know you're going to work this? In Greek, we have a perfect word for it. It's called meraki, which means you work something with love and passion. Or you're more likely to fail in a job that you actually hate and you just go there because of money.
But clearly, you're more likely to fail in something that
you don't give a shit.
That you don't care about.
You don't give a shit about.
Because you don't have that passion, energy that's actually going to help you to push through those kind of hard moments, because everything is going to come at the cost. There's going to be hard moments that you need to push through.
You don't have the drive. If I am in a job that I don't like, I don't have the drive to succeed. I don't care. Because for me, it's just about, okay, pay my bills and I'm good. But if you're in something that you truly care about, yes, I understand the risk is there. But this stress that you're feeling, this like uncomfortability of like fear of failure and anxiety you're feeling, is also because you care about that thing. And you're way more likely to succeed in something.
Point,
yeah.
Yeah.
And way more likely to succeed and make things work in something that you truly care about than in something that you don't give a shit of, because you're never going to try.
Although sometimes you don't truly care about the thing that you are about to try, you actually care about the other things that's going to make you look bad or stupid or a failure, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's important to look into where that kind of fear is coming from, right? Are you afraid of failing in front of your peers, or are you afraid that you are going to let yourself down, your parents down, right? So I think that's one single thing that people need to examine and figure out where that is actually coming from. And what I have figured out from my experience as well, you think that people care more than they actually do.
Oh, yes.
100%. They don't care. Everybody is busy with their own thoughts, their own problems, their own fears, right? So,
and even if they do, it's going to be
just not to
temporarily. They're not going to care for, like, do you think they're going to go back home and think about, oh, yeah, Adam launched this new project and he failed. And this is going to be the thought that you're going to occupy their minds? Like,
you know, in my mind, yes, they do.
Yeah, it's a spotlight effect, obviously.
But in reality, nobody does that.
No one gives a shit about you.
Yeah.
No one. Even the people who are closest to you, they're going to listen to you. They might think of you for a while, but then they're going to carry on with their lives. And that's, I don't want to sound like bad, but actually this is liberating. It's freeing you from this
Yeah.
internal judgment. And back to your point, I think it's very society's structure, the label of like, oh, I don't want to see me, I don't want them to see me fail. My peers, my parents, even yourself sometimes, I don't want to see myself fail. But ask there's a quote that goes like, the difference between the student and the master is that the master has failed way more times than the student even tried. And I love this quote because it shows you like, if you want to be the master at something, if you want to achieve like mastery, you need to embrace failure. You need to go all in with failure. But also like keep your eyes and ears open and learn from your mistakes. Because if you just keep failing and repeating the same mistake, it's not going to get you anywhere, obviously. But you need to embrace failure as part of the process. You need to embrace failure as part of like, as a wise teacher for you.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing else than that. It's just a wise teacher that is showing you, you did this mistake and now you can do this better. And you can go one step closer to your mastery.
Yeah. It reminds me to another story where this guy set one goal that he is going to be rejected 100 times. So what he did is that he actually walked up to women and, he just shoot his shot. Let's see what happens. Because he was so afraid to talk to women that instead of like trying to optimize for, I have to succeed in every single conversation I'm going to have, he just embraced it, that I'm going to be rejected 100 times. And just by putting himself in that situation, he learned so much. And at the end, he became super good at speaking to women. So he actually got over his fears of being rejected because that's what he embraced. Anyway.
I did something similar, not with women, but when I started acting, one of my first goals, I would say, year of doing it, it was go get rejected from like 50, 100 auditions. Like go to every single one of them that you don't give a shit even about it. It doesn't matter if you wanted it or not. Like sometimes I actually wanted this role and I just got rejected, but sometimes I didn't care. But my goal is to go get so many rejections to break this barrier of ego. So become better at auditioning, because that's also part of the process. Like when you're an actor, and if anyone's an actor understands that, auditioning is a different part of the job as well. And if you go there with a fear of rejection, you're rejected already. You're fucked, because you're not going to be free and yourself. And for me, it was like a big barrier because I was carrying this ego my whole life of fear of rejection and of wanting to be good and all those things. And I'm fearing failure as well for myself. Like I only wanted to do the best. So for me, one thing that actually helped me and set me free from the fear, that fear back then, was this journey that I put this challenge, and I actually did it. I actually was going to every single one of them in my area, in my uni, whatever it was. Go get rejected, go get rejected, go get rejected. And after a while, literally, I was walking into audition with such an attitude, not like a bad attitude, like arrogance, but such of like, okay, yeah, let's just, give me the script, okay, good. And I was so relaxed, and like by the third year that I got rejected like more than 100 times, honestly.
Yeah.
It was the year that obviously the craft improved as well, but I got more roles as well.
So let me summarize this. You had this huge ego, so you decided to go against your ego to break it down by getting rejected 100 times, and you got rejected a lot of times.
Yes.
But actually, that gave you such confidence that actually it grew your ego even more. No, I know I'm twisting the story, but that's a side
that didn't
effect.
sound well, but no, it probably. Then I worked in an ego in a different way. That's true. No, it didn't grow my ego in that time. It actually helped me relax. Because I remember, I remember the first times I got rejected, I felt like this will never work for me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, bro, like, you're a fucking newbie. You've never done this before. You're in the first year. Of course you're not good enough. Like, get over yourself. Yeah. You're not going to be good in an act of art, in an art. Because theater and acting is a hard art form. Yeah. You're not going to be good at it in your first month you just walked there. Of course you're going to get rejected. But, you always, when you start something, you always want to be good at it. You don't want to fail. You don't want to accept that, I suck at this. And for me,
Yeah, you need to embrace the sucking.
you need to bless. Oh, that. I mean, Adam.
you know
sure.
what we mean.
I know what you
we
mean.
should not take this out of context.
This can easily be taken out of
I know.
context
I know. Let's not do that.
in a short clip. Man, I'm the editor on this on this episode. Good luck with that.
Yeah. But
So yeah, you need to embrace that. You need to just be okay. Like I'm gonna start something new, whatever that is. I'm gonna suck at it at the beginning, you know, and I'm fine with that. Because if I want to learn, I have to suck at it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think we answered the shit out of this one. So why don't
We
we move?
suck the shit out of this one.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take that out of context as well.
Oh shit.
Okay, cool. Let's take the business dad paradox. This is a paradox actually I have never heard about, which says that technology has allowed us to become more efficient in our work. Increased efficiency means more of the most precious commodity, time. But time for what exactly? Usually to do more work. Man,
That's an
it
interesting
hit me
paradox, yeah.
so hard.
I feel personally
because
attacked.
when I read this, it reminded me to some of the experiences I had while I was working for another company, and I was keep on saying that we are becoming the victim. We are becoming the victim of our own success. So the better I perform, the more I produce, the more shit they put on my plate.
Yeah.
Right? And at some point, I think that's why some people just stop over delivering. But it also goes to the management that they need to understand what kind of targets to set for these individuals. So they're actually meeting the goals that they need to meet, but they are not taking advantage of the people who are actually performing, quote unquote, too well.
Too well. So what's the solution to that? What would you say we can do to fight this paradox on a personal level?
I think we need to be very good at setting boundaries, not just with other people, but with ourselves as well. And I think it goes back to something that we talked about in the previous episode, that you need to understand whether you work like a cow or you work like a lion, right? Because if you don't set those boundaries, then you are going to end up working like a cow, always trying to do something. So once you gain some of that resource back, that you have more time, use it wisely. Use it for yourself, use it for your loved ones, use it for your friends, or just embrace life a little bit. So
Absolutely.
I think it all comes down to boundaries.
The happiness paradox. There is a strange paradox that comes with this, and the definition of it is more of like that when people greatly value happiness, they end up more likely to suffer depression. And in my take, it's not because like happiness is something bad, right? Happiness is a great feeling. But we should not neglect that happiness is an emotion, is a feeling, and it cannot be a state of being all the time. You can be in serenity, you can be at peace and kind of like being okay with even the moments that you're not okay. But happiness by itself, for me, is not something that can be... If you just pursue happiness, it's like chasing a constant moving destination, that it always moves away from you, and you just keep chasing happiness, keep chasing happiness, keep chasing the hype of happiness. And a lot of times may end up being so disappointing for you when you realize that, I'm not happy? Why I'm not happy now? Because you can't be happy all the time. Can you cry all the time? Can you be sad all the time? That's called depression. So an emotion that stacks for so long, like too much sadness or too much like that, it becomes a state. When emotion becomes a state, it's mental disorder. Why would an emotion of happiness constantly wouldn't be a disorder as well, just because we label it as a better emotion? The reality of it is not like that. And I believe that's why this paradox says here, like people who value too much happiness, they end up being more prone to depress, because they value too much this hype feeling of excitement that comes with happiness.
Yeah.
And you tend to forget that life has glimpses and moments of happiness and true joy, and then it just goes like more a bit flat. It has some downs, it has some ups. You can't just be there constantly, because that's also, at least in my take, not 100% healthy. and not 100% sustainable, because you either need to be delusional and ignore everything that's happening in your life and be like, oh yeah, like we see this in this toxic positivity culture, like, oh yeah, see everything positive, everything all be good, just be positive. No, you're not. Your life has have some shit. Should happen to you. You are allowed to feel angry. You're allowed to feel sad. You're allowed to feel like depressed. You're allowed to feel like all those big range of emotions. So if you just value happiness and you constantly want to be happy, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah, the more you search for happiness, the more it eludes you, and it's like that when you try to grab it, you try to grab so many things, and you are trying to hold on to it so hard, your hands are full.
Yeah.
And when your hands are full, you are not able to receive. So you need to let that go, right? So you can actually receive. And I think that's exactly how people should live their lives as well.
I believe gratitude is the gateway to happiness. If
yeah.
you are truly grateful for your life, if you're truly content and at peace with the ups and downs and everything that is there in your life, if you're living a meaningful, purposeful, I would say, life, I believe that this is the ticket to happiness.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're going to feel happiness all the time, but happiness becomes a byproduct of that state. Because even in your lows, even in the days that you feel more moody, low for whatever reason, or something happens in your life, your state of being, your state of life is like, I'm still grateful. I'm still grateful for that. I'm living a meaningful life. So yes, I acknowledge that things will come and go. I will have some moments of joy, some moments of sadness, cry, laughter, and all these are part of myself. But my core is meaning. I don't know if it's too... I don't know how to describe this emotion, but like in my take, I would take a meaningful life with lots of ups and downs over a happy, just happy life in bliss and naivety, I would say, at every moment. I'd rather take that hit of the downs, but live a meaningful life.
You know, I just want to read something that I read on LinkedIn as a comment under this post. It came from, not sure if I pronounce her name correctly, Ivoni Yeste. So what she was saying, that I have developed a baseline of contentment where I feel good, at peace, and
Exactly.
regard it as my steady state. And what it allows her to do is to embrace and fully experience the full extent of all other emotions, because she knows it's going to be fine. She has her baseline of contentment, right? And I think that's a wonderful way to put it.
Yeah, I'd choose peace and contentment over happiness every single time. Just because I believe it's very healthy to embrace all the range of your emotions and not just because otherwise you end up in this, and I know it's going a little bit off topic, but you end up being like judging your emotions, which is like a really dangerous path to go down. Like you end up judging only embracing let's say the emotions that make you feel good, the hype ones, and then trying to suppress and push away the ones that doesn't make you feel good and feel more uncomfortable. So yeah. Content.
Agreed. The man in the car paradox. Have you heard this before?
No. A man in a car.
So what it says is that so the man in the car paradox. No one is impressed with your possessions as much as you are. You think you want an expensive car or fancy watch. In reality, what you want is respect and admiration from other people.
Oh, that's actually a very interesting paradox.
I think it's a great one.
That's a great one.
I think it's very common, especially amongst young founders and creators and, you know, all the crypto degens and everything. And everybody wants that Lambo. I don't want that Lambo. I want my Porsche, but I don't.
I was about to say, you don't want a Lambo?
No, I'm like a Porsche guy.
Yeah.
But so I understand that. On the other hand, I also have a contra argument to that, is that, for example, when you have an expensive car or a fancy watch, it, to a certain degree, it still gets you a certain level of respect. right? But then after that, it's totally up to you how you use that respect. So the story, what I remembered is that I can't remember the name of the person, but he was mentoring one young founder, right? And that young founder was like killing it. He made like $1 million in his first year. He started living a great life. He got his Lambo. And then the mentor went to the mentee and told him, dude, I cannot mentor you anymore. And the mentee was like, why not? Because I'm making money and doing everything that you told me to do, and I'm succeeding. And the mentor was saying, but you are not doing the right thing. You are wasting your money on things that are meaningless, and this is not where you should put your money. And the mentee was like, what are you talking about? And the mentor was like, didn't you just buy a Lambo? And yes, I did. Yeah, that's a waste of money. And then the mentee was saying that, you know, where I came from, there is no such car in the neighborhood like this. And when people see me, when kids see me in my Lambo, they walk up to me and they're asking, oh, dude, what are you doing? This is an amazing car. Are you an athlete? Are you in crypto? Or what do you do? And he was saying that I read books and I help other people. Right? So he actually leveraged the attention and the respect that he was getting from young kids to actually give them something even more valuable to inspire them and put them on the right path. So I think at the end of the day, it's up to you how you use that kind of attention that you start getting from people once you have those kind of possessions.
That's also, yeah, it's beautifully said. For me, also comes from intention. Like, it's not what you do, it's why you're doing it. So if you want to buy this nice car, this nice clothes, nice house for yourself, because you want to reward yourself, because you just enjoy driving a nice fast car, because you like living in a beautiful house and you want to provide this place for your family, your friends or whatever, if the intention is coming from like this place, it's cool. For me, but if your intention is coming from showing off, trying to command respect through material possessions, then I'm not going to judge anyone for doing this, obviously, but then it's a good question to ask yourself, like, why do you need to flex, in brackets, why do you need to show off? Why do you need these materials, the possessions of yours to command respect, to get validation from other people, to make you feel good in terms of like acceptance from others or whatever it is? Why do you need the possessions and you cannot provide this without them? Why can't you command respect by who you are and you need your Lambo to command respect for you? So it always comes back to the intention behind. Is it nice to have all those extra materials? Like, I also want like a Porsche or whatever, like a nice car, because I like it.
Yeah.
But I will not use it, or I don't want this. For me, also it comes like to the complete opposite effect. Like, I would rather someone to command the respect and whatever it is, the connection there, before they find out that I have a Porsche in my garage. But a lot of people goes in the other way around. And this is the question: why are you not feeling that you are enough to command respect? That you, who you are as a person, without even your job, your fame or whatever, you are enough to be likable, or to people to admire, or just to build connections without them. Why do you need the validation from your possessions? So it's not what you do, what you possess, or what you buy. Is why. What's the reason behind? Is why you're doing those things.
Yeah. Should we move on to the next one?
We have one last one.
One last one.
Is the knowledge paradox, which can be put really simply like, the more we learn, the more we find out how little we know, and that we need to gain additional knowledge to expand our comfort zones. And this is also like, I don't want to butcher it.
Just butcher it.
No, I'm not going to butcher it.
Okay, while you are searching, I'm just going to read what Alex wrote about it, because I think the actual knowledge paradox is different than what he wrote. What he wrote was, the more you know, the less you can clearly explain. And that's different, right? And my immediate feeling was that this is something that I would like to push back on, because the more you actually know and understand, the more clearly you can simplify and explain it, right? Whereas what you mentioned, what it is, it's very different. So what did you find?
It was, I wanted to mention the quote from like an ancient Greek philosopher, but I didn't remember who was it, so I just googled to figure out. It's from Socrates,
Okay.
and it's like, "I know that I know nothing," which this I guess simplifies the whole
Yeah.
paradox in one box there. And obviously, Socrates was like a very powerful guy, a very knowledgeable guy, and what he meant by this quote wasn't like that actually he knows nothing, but his point is like the more you know and the more knowledge you gain, the more you understand that there is so much out there.
Oh yeah.
And the more you understand that you always need to have this student mindset, open mind to learn, and open mind to that some people can come and challenge your ideas. And as long as you leave this door open for your ideas to be challenged, you're always going to be willing to learn and become better. But the
Yeah.
moment you put a block and you feel like that's my idea, now I believe I know everything, you're done. You're literally done there. There's nothing more. There's no more growth for you. So even like one of the most powerful philosophers back in his age, the one thing he wanted to say is like, I know that I know nothing.
You know, it's so interesting because I see this so many times, especially when I'm surrounded by very smart people. And if they also have the right set of values, they seem super humble about the knowledge and the experience that they have, to a level that they almost downplay it. And they don't even know how much they already know compared to someone who is just getting on their own path and journey, right?
Yeah.
And it became very clear to me when I started going to different kind of events in Jakarta. When I went there to, I don't know what it was about. It was about like how to build the best customer experience, right? And the guy was literally talking about the most important thing for 45 minutes. You need to know your customer. I'm like, okay, clear, what's next? Like, that's it. Like, you need to know your customer. I'm like, that's it? Like, I knew it like 10 years ago. Like, I literally gained nothing out of this. But then it became very clear that actually the knowledge what I have may be super valuable for someone who is a couple of steps behind, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was also one of the reasons why I didn't really want to create content. I didn't really want to put myself out there because I always saw someone else who knows so much more, and I just didn't feel that I know enough.
You know enough, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so the
I think
two
that-
things
that's
kind of work together.
I felt the same trap when I started my fitness content. I was like, who am I to educate people on nutrition and fitness? And even though at the same time I was saying those things, I was literally scrolling on social media and watching so many people calling out bullshit out there. You know, like, and you have like from the one side that you can tell how much you can provide. Like, oh, that's not correct. I can actually know what they're saying is not wrong, and then have like views and followers and everything, and they're putting out too much misinformation. And then you see like people who are saying the right knowledge and the right information out there, and you're like, yeah, I know that too. And that makes you realize like, I probably can do that, but I'm questioning myself way too much. You know, you keep, especially the more knowledgeable you get on a topic, the more you're questioning yourself. For me, that is, if you ever pay attention to how I'm talking about nutrition, for example, which is one of the knowledge that I make so much in-depth research on in my life. I'm always using words as maybe, or the questioning words, because I'm always.
Is it because you're unsure, or is
No,
it because
because
you
if
don't want to state it as a fact? Because maybe you are mistaken, or why?
No, because like even some facts that we have, there can be something new later on coming on that challenges this belief. Even Albert Einstein said like the important thing is to never stop questioning, and especially if you're in science, like nutrition science, for example, or any or even philosophy or whatever you do, never stop questioning. Like when I first heard this quote, it stick with me. Like I'm not questioning my knowledge or the evidence that we have now in nutrition, but at the same time, I'm not going to accept them 100%. Like if you think about it, how many years ago did people still believe that eggs cause you cholesterol, for example? And then this belief got shattered completely.
Yeah.
So maybe some of the things we know today with the technology and the knowledge of the future might be also disturbed, which although we can see that now there's been so much research and in-depth analysis over years and decades. So some of the facts that we know probably are not going to be get questioning too much. But still, if you don't have like an open mind to accept and question what you think that you know and you believe, you will never accept the difference. You will never accept a different opinion on that. And you're just constantly going to believe that what you know is true, and that's it. So no matter how knowledgeable you are on a topic, I think it's just important to leave the question mark there. Accept the fact that, yeah, I know so much about this topic, but something new may come on and make me question this a little bit, or make you even develop it even further, especially if you are knowledgeable at something.
Yeah. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I think we can
I
wrap it up
actually
here.
prepared a couple of more paradoxes in case we have so much time on our hand, which we unfortunately don't.
Yeah.
We can save that for another episode, although I found this very funny.
Make them references and as the names.
What?
Make them a reference as their names.
Just to mention them?
Yeah, just mention the names.
Okay, so one of them, the first one is paradox of choice.
Ooh.
I think we can save that for another one.
Yeah.
The other one is the region
Part three?
beta paradox.
I would love the
I
paradox
will
of
tell you
choice,
about
but
it. And my favorite one, the muscle-bound bro paradox.
The muscle
Muscle-bound bro
muscle-bound
paradox.
bro paradox.
Okay, I'm going to read
What
this
the
one.
fuck is that?
The guy who desperately wants the admiration of women obsesses with getting huge in the gym, but it's only the other bros in the
Other
gym
bro-
that really appreciate it.
Okay, that's a funny one.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay, maybe we found a few more. We'll do a part 3 in the
Yeah.
short future. Not straight away, but yeah.
Cool. I think this was great. Let's
Leave
do
it
this
open.
again. I think that's it for today.
Yeah, we can wrap it up here.
Cheerio.